So here we are at Aquatopia, and it's a really exciting show. It's just like eating lobster. You need something to crack it open, and there are lots of tasty bits, and actually it's free, unlike lobster. It's very interesting to look at work like African artist Wangeshi Mutu, who starts off with something like a black female body, a black female face, and mutates it through magazine images, collages. Here she's got a strange, what looks like a giraffe leg coming out of the head, and then this sort of central core, the jewel. And lots of the show is about the imaginary, the cultural space of the sea, not just the physical and natural space. And I love the global breadth of it. You've got work from lots of different continents, not just Europe and England, who of course has a very strong seafaring culture and history. But it really makes you look at how did Japanese people see and portray the sea, and contemporary artists have a very different relationship with it to the European artist. Another piece I really enjoyed was an 18th century sea sculpture of broken porcelain that's laying in a Chinese shipwreck, and lots of these things have accrued to it, coral and barnacles, and it's survived, and it looks like the sort of rebellious daughter of Grace and Perry. I also really enjoyed seeing Mikhail Karikis' piece, Sea Women, which was made in an island off South Korea called Jeju. And he was traveling there and he heard this weird whistling, shrieking sound, and he didn't know whether it was a bird call or a mammal, and then he found out that it was these women sea divers called henyo, and they're all in their 60s to 80s, and they dive down without sub-aqua. They stay under the water for 2 minutes, and then they swim fast up and take this breath that comes out like a shriek. And so he was really fascinated as a sound artist to do a piece looking at this community of women and this breathing technique that is really no longer being taught, because younger women don't want to do this dirty, cold, wet job. But it's a beautiful piece about community and about communal space and all women working together. And again, it was really interesting to see it in this space. The other piece which I was really pleased to see and hadn't seen before was the Ana Mendieta series from her Silhouette series. And she was an extraordinary artist in the 70s and 80s who came from Cuba to America when she was about 11 or 12, educated there, and really missed Cuba and missed its cultural relationships to the sea and to the land, and was a pioneer in land art and conceptual art, and very much a pioneer in feminist art about how to represent the body and the body of the woman in the sea or in the earth. And she, oddly enough, made a lot of pieces that looked like grave pieces. She's lying seemingly still on the earth, or she's stabbing her stomach. And in this piece, she's letting the sea almost cover her and leaving a body shape of herself. When she gets up and leaves the water, she takes photos of that imprint of the sea. And it's quite strange to look at her work because of the way she died quite tragically in an accident, and quite young at 37. And so there's always this strange haunting. And I think that's maybe also why we go back to the sea. We go back and we look for answers from it, because it is this imponderable thing, and it's also very seductive. And the idea of seduction comes up a lot in this show, the seductive female quality of the sea, represented by the sirens and the mermaids. And there's one very creepy piece by Liz Craft of what happens to a mermaid when she grows up. And of course, they never grow up in myth. They're always beautiful young women. And there she is, shriveled and old, and she goes to mermaid heaven, wherever that is.